Hello, hello, my lovely souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how to restart your island without restarting your island. I'll be sharing with you my tips and tricks on how to flatten your Animal Crossing island in a way that leaves you feeling stress-free and excited to create something new. Now, I know it can be super overwhelming to think about completely destroying your island, but that is why I'm here with you today so that you can feel excited about being able to recreate your island whenever you want without losing all of your progress and DIYs in your current game. So let's get started. Tip number 1 is to document your island. If you have the Nintendo Switch Online membership, you can upload your current island to the Dream Suite and have it whenever you want to visit it again. Once you've done that, or if you don't have an online membership, give your island a glamorous photo shoot. Documenting your favorite parts of your island as well as your villagers, just soaking up that island life, will be great memories to look back on, not only for inspiration, but just for good feelings once you flatten your island. Tip number 2 is probably the most important tip of all of the ones that I'll share with you today, and that is to have a plan. One of the hardest parts of life in general is starting something new, and especially when you have a completely blank canvas in front of you, it can be super intimidating to try and start over. So avoid this by making a plan for your future island. You can use things like the Happy Island Designer website, Photoshop, or simply write out your ideas in a notebook so that you don't get overwhelmed, shut off your game, and never touch it again. Have a plan, pick which area you want to start on first, and don't ever lose hope on your creativity. Later in the video, I'll share a great first step for rebuilding your island, so stay tuned. Tip number 3 is to prepare yourself, specifically by buying 2 of the Super Mario pipes and a garbage can. If you place one pipe in your house and keep the other in your pocket, you have direct access to your storage no matter where you are on your island. This has been so helpful, especially for when I started cleaning up all the items on my island, as it saved me from running back and forth to my house every single time my pockets got full. The garbage can will also be super helpful for throwing away all the things you don't need in your inventory, like extra flowers or items that you can reorder or recraft in the future. Pro tip, if you have too many items in your storage or on your island that you want to keep, make a second profile on your Switch to get a whole extra house's worth of storage. This will cost some extra bells, but it's super helpful and keeps you from feeling overwhelmed by the number of items that will end up laying around on your island. Tip number 4 is to clear and utilize your beaches first. From my experience, the best way to start flattening your island is by moving all of the structures and flowers out of the way first. And the best place to move them all to is your beaches, or on the edges of your island. Time traveling will be your best friend for this, but remember you can only time travel forward in order for the structure relocation process to work properly. I would suggest relocating your structures from biggest to smallest, as the biggest structures eat up a ton of space. I'll warn you right now, your wallet is going to hurt. It costs 50,000 bells to move each structure and each villager home, as well as 30,000 bells to move your own house, which means it will cost 730,000 bells to move all of the buildings and homes alone. Then on top of that, it also costs 10,000 bells to demolish each staircase and or bridge that you have on your island. So really rack up those bells before you get started. Another pro tip, if you're in need of some quick and easy money, rack up your Nook Miles, redeem as many Nook Mile tickets as you can, and sell them to Timmy and Tommy for 10,000 bells each. Tip number 5 is to keep your precious greenery. This tip is pretty optional, but I would recommend keeping 5 to 10 of each of your favorite flowers, including the hybrids that are harder to breed. I also recommend keeping the red, white, and yellow flowers of the ones that are not your native or sister flowers, as you can always get rid of them later, but they might be harder to find again. You should also grab whatever bushes, trees, and fruit trees you want to keep for your next island. Tip number 6 is only keep what you can't get back. Once you have your beaches filled to the brim, it'll be time to start clearing your island off of all of the items you've put out. My best tip for this is if you can reorder or recraft the items on your island, go ahead and toss them to save you a ton of extra storage space as you go. However, if you have items that you love and know that you want for your next island, keep them, or make note of it somewhere and write down whether you have to reorder it or recraft it. Future you will thank you. Tip number 7 is delay the demolition of your bridges and inclines. I would say you should only demolish them if you know that it will get in the way of your future island plans. Those things cost a lot of money, and it would be a pain to lose your incline only to find out later that it worked perfectly where it was before. So now that your island is completely flat, empty, and ready to be rebuilt, it's time to get some inspiration. As I mentioned in tip number 2, there's a super easy way to start up your newly flattened island without feeling overwhelmed, and that is to use the starter maps that are given at the start of the game. Maybe you can relate to me on this, but once I had completed my island, I actually started to miss the vibes that came with the very beginnings of the game and of my island. And if you're really stumped on where to start, the easiest thing to do is to look at the starter maps, pick out your favorite things about each of them, and compile them all together on your newly flattened island. Next, I will share with you some quick tips that I discovered while I was flattening my island. Number 1 is pass on the paths. If you have ground designs on the second and third levels of your island, do not do what I did and spend 100 years brushing over them with the grass. Just demolish the level and they will disappear with the cliff. Number 2, if you want to change the name of your island without restarting your game, come up with a city name. For example, welcome to the city of Kintsukuroi on the island of HEIWA. Number 3, if you're planning on making a rock garden on your map, make it while your island is completely flat. Using the mannequin trick is a million times easier when you have a flat and open island. Check out the link in my description to see how the mannequin trick works. Tip number 4, if you are in need of inspiration, use the World Wide Web. Use Pinterest, Google, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, Tumblr, MySpace, anything online to find tons of Animal Crossing design ideas and content. Be sure to credit or promote the creators that you take direct inspiration from though, especially if you totally rip off their secret fairy garden design. If you know, you know. Finally, my last tip is to just have fun. At the end of the day, this is an incredible video game that is solely meant to bring you peace and joy. So if you ever find yourself stressing out about your island being perfect, or you're regretting your choice to flatten, remember that this game was meant to be an empty canvas for you to have full control over. And you can always rebuild what you got rid of if you really missed something about your previous island. The Animal Crossing world is completely yours, so enjoy that freedom and just have fun. So there you go. Those are all of my tips and tricks for how to restart your island without restarting your island. If you found any of these tips helpful, be sure to leave a like on the video and comment down below if you have any other tips or tricks for flattening your island. As always, if you want to be a part of the Muffin fam, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss my next video. Thank you all so much for watching. I am so grateful for all of you and I hope that you have a lovely day. Bye!